Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Previously, we explored the courtyard and we determined the secret to Simon Keyes' showmanship trick. Using a system of ropes and pulleys and weights, he was able to make himself fly across the stage for part of the act. But now we're learning that apparently someone swapped out his weights with the dead body. And so Simon Keyes was actually pulled by the weight of the body as it descended into the well. And someone very cleverly used a tarp to catch any falling blood. And now Judge Courtney and that other dude have appeared, and we need to prove our findings to them because they still believe old, outdated information. So let's go. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Hold it! So you continue to believe Mr. Keyes is the murderer. Just as you continue to speak as if he is not. Do you have any decisive evidence? Do you know the identity of the true criminal? You do realize you need proper evidence too. I'm a representative of the goddess of law. My words are her holy orders. Orders. Indeed, if I state something is black, it is black. If I state something is white, it is white. No room for gray, huh? Oh, so what would you call gray? If you wish to disprove my words, then... Oh, God, I'm frazzled. If you wish to disprove my words, then present your evidence at once. Since Mr. Elbert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, couldn't it be possible that Elbert just failed to notice the body? Miss Assistant's assistant, did you also enter the hole? Huh? How'd you know? I noticed that there was some mud stuck on your lovely hair ornament yesterday. That's amazing! Your powers of observation would even put a great thief to shame. In the name of the goddess of law, answer me truthfully. If there were a dead body in that tunnel, would it have escaped your notice? Oh, well, the thing is... yeah, I think I would have noticed something like that. Do you understand now? Mr. Elbert did not see the body. It could only have been dropped down the well during the show. Hold it! The body was dropped down the well during the show. I like to hear your reasoning for this. The day before the show, Mr. Elbert lent the key to Mr. Knightley. The key to Knightley's cell, huh? Mr. Knightley escaped from his cell with the key and entered the cage Mr. Keyes had prepared. Mr. Keyes then moved the cage to the courtyard and proceeded to murder Mr. Knightley. The next day, when Mr. Elbert passed through the tunnel, he did not come across the body. Please, wait a minute. That doesn't seem right at all. Wasn't there a sweet smell in the tunnel? Mr. Knightley must have passed through it. Mr. Knightley passed through the tunnel after Mr. Elbert did. Mr. Elbert passed through the tunnel at the start of the show. However, the body wasn't found until the end of the show. Which is why you believe the body was dropped during the show. Yes, and there's only one person who could have carried out this act. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. There is no one else who could have committed the murder. I heard that Miss Barry was present on stage at all times. A great number of the prisoners were also watching the show. Even the prisoners who did not see it have sufficient alibis. Do they? How about the guards? Along with the warden, nearly everyone was watching the show. But there must have been a chance for even one of them to approach the well. During the show, none of the guards left their posts. That much is certain. They all testified as such. She's left no room for oversight. Do you finally admit that only Simon Keyes could have been the criminal? Judge Courtney has not thoroughly examined the courtyard like we have. So there's a bit of a gap in our argument, right? I should review the evidence we obtained in the courtyard. So... I think we can prove that not everyone has an alibi. Wait, what evidence was that proved that? Hold on. Someone swapped the weights with the body. Do we show that? Oh. Oh, I feel dumb. Look, it's been a full, 24 hours since I last recorded this, so my train of thought is just now leaving the station. It could only have been dropped down the well during the show. Now, when Simon tugged on the stopper rope to unfurl the rope, the body would be dropped down and Simon would be yanked through the air, but at that point the body would still be suspended. I don't think it would hit the bottom, it would be still attached to the rope. It would be lowered all the way, or maybe it did hit the ground of the tunnel. So I want to say that, yeah, the body was dropped down the well during the show? But the way Judge Courtney's talking, she means that it was, just dropped and left there. But what happened to the other rope? The rope that was holding the body? Or do we tell her how the body was suspended above Elbert's head? When Elbert passed under the body. I suppose that would be it? Or do we bring up the circuit breaker on the one that says that no one else could have done it? I think we do that. The only one who could perform such an act is the suspect. That's not true because of the time discrepancy. The power went out. Or... wait. God, I feel like I'm being such a dumbass, but... Judge Courtney, could you take a look at this piece of evidence? I'm afraid I cannot accept that piece of evidence. I do not believe it has any relation to my testimony. Okay. No. As I expected, she's nothing like Mr. DeBest. However, I won't back down so easily. Do we show the device on this? We say, hey, no, someone swapped the weights. Oh, yes, good. Unfortunately for you, Judge Courtney, your argument doesn't hold any water, just like the well. There was a device set up around the well here. What is this device of which you speak? Are you aware of the stunt in which Mr. Keyes is blown away by the elephant during the show? I have heard of it. It would have been right before he exits the stage. He tied one end of the length of rope to himself and the other end to a set of weights. He was able to perform the stunt by dropping these weights down the well. Wouldn't he have spent the whole play suspended up in the air? That's why he had a stopper attached to the weighted end. The stopper was removed by pulling another rope. Around the well, we found evidence that the weights were switched with the victim's body. This was done by the real killer in order to shift suspicion away from them. Judging from the time of death, the murder was carried out in the early morning of the show. The true criminal had until the time the show started to set up the device. But didn't Simon Keyes make that thing? And since he was also the one who used it, he is the best suspect. Don't you agree? If Mr. Keyes were the murderer, he would not have needed to do that. Miss Berry. Yes? Was there anyone else who knew of the device he set up? Well, let me see. Since we had to get everything about our show approved by the people here at the prison, I'd say there were others who knew about it. And there you have it. I see. You have indeed performed a thorough investigation, which is why I'm even further perplexed. Why do you not use your efforts for justice? My actions are not just. Who made that decision? You cannot understand even that? Even now? Providing support to a defense attorney, despite being a prosecutor? It is quite unnatural. This goes against the rules. I am merely choosing to do what I think is right at this particular time. I travel down the road I have chosen. Your comprehension does not matter in the least. However, if anyone intends to interfere, I will show no mercy. Perhaps this is a calling from the goddess of law. If you intend to rebel against her divine will, I will have no choice but to hand down my verdict. Pay heed to my words. I have one more reason to suspect Simon Keyes of murder. We'll see about that. If the body came from the courtyard, how was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center? Only Simon Keyes could have provided such an opportunity. Because of this fact, I find it most difficult to suspect any other party of this crime. While Simon Keyes was moving supplies for the show, he visited Mr. Knightley's cell. Does that not strike you as odd? Why else would he have brought a large covered cage with him? Oh, that does seem pretty suspicious. Mr. Keyes was merely that kind of person. It is entirely possible that he carelessly brought it there. If that is possible, then it is also possible that he was assisting in the escape. Am I wrong? I suppose I must refute her theory with evidence. If the body came from the courtyard, you seem to believe that Knightley was killed in the courtyard. So, can you say when he was brought here? On the day of the show between midnight and 8 a.m. I am positive it could only have been during that time. So after rehearsal had ended and before the show had begun, the most pressing issue is, how was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center?
Hold it!
Are you certain there were no other routes? The trial date had not yet been determined by Mr. Knightley, for Mr. Knightley. Since he was not a prisoner, he could not have easily entered the prison. He would have stood out too much. Meaning no one testified seeing him there. Well done. May you be blessed by the goddess of law. As I said, Mr. Knightley was taken into the prison through a less conspicuous manner. Only Simon Keyes could have provided such an opportunity.
Hold it!
Are you certain that he was the only person who had the opportunity? Have you forgotten? This is a prison. Due to the constant supervision, it would be impossible to do anything unusual. Unless the supervisor is corrupt.
Hold it!
Then wouldn't it be the same for Mr. Keyes? The warden has shown favor to the very big circus. Simon Keyes is a circus member, Miss Barry's apprentice no less. It could only have been him. He was able to move about freely within the facility.
Objection!
It seems that you forgot to mention that. The word forget does not exist in my dictionary. Then it would be prudent for you to add this to your argument. Mr. Keyes may have been the only person who could have moved around freely in the prison. But on the day of the murder, there was a gap in the time missing from the surveillance records. During that time, anyone could have done as they pleased. Do I have proof of this gap in the surveillance records? Yeah. Wait, do I go here? I think I do the circuit breaker. Here is the evidence. I think I overthought it. I overthought the overthinking. Yeah, I'm proving that there is a gap that exists, not that there was a cause for a gap. What do you think, Sebastian? Let me think here. Since all humans have 2 legs, anyone could have walked around the place. However, to walk around a prison freely is not gonna be that easy. Even the best pointed out my mistake. Seems you learned quickly, Edgeworth. Edgeworth? Who are you calling Edgeworth? Her claim is based on the prison's surveillance system. I just need to present evidence that will make it seem less reliable.
Hold it!
Press it again.
Hold it! Elbow!
And this time we'll show the footage.
Elbow!
There we go.
Take that!
Mr. Keyes wasn't the only one who had the opportunity. Who else could have had the opportunity? The timestamp on the security camera is off by 3 hours. This means there was a 3-hour gap in time. During that time, anyone could have done it. If that were the case, then the murderer would have created the gap in time intentionally. It would not have been a simple camera failure. Are you saying that is possible? It's possible if you had access to this. Yeah, here we go.
Take that!
In this courtyard, we found the circuit breaker for the security camera. And it was possible to access the breaker room both before and after the murder. What? Unfortunately, it appears that you have fallen short of your intentions. Mr. Edgeworth hasn't fallen short of anything. So, can you explain how the murderer obtained the key to the breaker room? Oh yeah, that's right. It was locked, wasn't it? The warden hangs onto the key, right? The breaker room has great importance even in a prison. There is no one who would be able to obtain the key so easily.
Objection!
Well, I can think of someone. What did you say? This person, the murderer, was able to get the key. They didn't even need to steal it. There can't be anyone like that. Besides, the breaker to the electrified fence is in that room too. Only one person could have done this. I didn't want to believe it myself, but I trust that my logic is sound. The person who used the key to enter the breaker room is the warden herself, Patricia.
Take that!
The murderer is Bork? Warden Roland. Oh my, what an energetic little puppy. That's because this dog is extremely fond of sweets. It seems to detect a sweet scent on you. Oh, heavens no. I'm not even wearing perfume or anything of the sort. What the dog detects is the sweet scent of death. How poetic. However, does that not imply that I committed a murder? That's what I think. What? The warden is the murderer? Mr. Edgeworth, are you serious about your statement? Oh, how amusing. The very thought of a warden committing a murder. It sounds like something out of a mystery novel. Precisely, your reasoning is in contempt.
Hold it!
Nothing of the sort. I did not want to believe it myself, but based on the evidence, I have no choice but to believe it. This evidence proves that Warden Roland is the murderer. Hello? Do we go for the chisel? The chisel was confiscated. I'm going with my gut here.
Take that!
This proves you are the murderer. Treating me like a criminal just because of that is so cruel. That doesn't even have anything to do with me. That wasn't it. Vessel's reaction to Warden Roland earlier. What was the cause of it? I need to let that guide me to the answer. I suppose your accusation was nothing more than a joke in poor taste after all. No, it was not, Warden Roland. You are the murderer. Then why don't you show us the evidence? The sweet scent of the mud? Oh, the sweet scent of the body. That's it. The smell gave you away. As you can plainly see, someone has taken notice. This police dog? He tracked a sweet smell that came from the body. And right now he is telling us that the same scent is also on Warden Roland. Oh, you're a cruel one to accuse me of murder based on something like that. Right, Justine, darling? It appears that Judge Courtney has reached the same conclusion as I have. Mr. Edgeworth, this couldn't have been just a coincidence, could it? The key to the breaker room and the same scent on the body. If it were only one, it could have been seen as such. It appears We have reached a conclusion. We should now listen to what the warden has to say. Indeed, until we do, we cannot close this case. Oh my goodness, everyone with such a scary faces. So I'm the only one who could have been the murderer? That just cannot be. Why, I can't be the killer. I heard all about the case from Justine Darling here. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison. I was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office. Check up on it if you like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison. I don't know what reasoning you had, but I can say for sure, I cannot be the killer.
But Missile barked at you, pal. You've got to be the culprit.
Oh, heavens, it's not possible. I already told you I never went to the prison. If you think I'm lying, why don't you check the records? She wants us to check the records. She does seem confident. For now, all we can do is listen to her and try to draw out more information. I do hope you understand, Mr. Edgeworth. I heard all about the case from Justine Darling here.
Hold it!
From George Courtney. Are you two close? As close as fish in water? Are you jealous?
Jealous?
On the first day of the investigation, she filled us in on the situation. In exchange for our cooperation, she explained the details of the case to us. How could you say that? You're so mean, Justine, darling. The truth is the truth. I believe it should be told as such.
For some reason, those two seem kind of scary when they're working together.
Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell.
Hold it!
The murder occurred inside the cell. How can you be so certain about that?
Well, everywhere else would be under surveillance, right? And the victim's blood was found there too.
That blood was actually from when he was struck by Albert, but I don't think it's necessary to inform her of this fact. That doesn't mean it's proven. You do know that.
But I see no contradictions in assuming the crime scene was at the detention center. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison.
Hold it!
You never went into the prison. Do you have proof of this?
My, can't you wait for me to finish? I was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office.
Hold it!
You were in your office the whole time. Nothing strange happened.
Nope, nothing at all.
Were you looking for something?
I'm not too good at tidying up. I always forget where I put everything. The other day, I even lost track of an important piece of evidence.
But how could you have made such a grave error?
If someone were to take something from me, I wouldn't even notice it the entire year.
I guess it will be hard to attack with the key to the breaker room.
On the day of the incident, I was working in my office and searching for lost items. In other words, I couldn't have gone to the prison, even if I had wanted to. Check up on it if you like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison.
Hold it!
You did not enter the prison from the entrance. But what if there was another route?
Oh my, are you suggesting something like a secret passage? I don't know if anything like that exists.
It is my firm belief you did possess an alternate route. That route was neither the entrance nor a secret passage. The route you used was from here. Huh? Did they go through the courtyard? Or just say this little bit here? I'm gonna go with courtyard.
The barbed wire fence?
You would have moved nightly to your office first. This office leads directly to the garden side of the courtyard. If you had moved through here and passed through the barbed wire fence, you would have arrived at the prison without passing through the entrance or a tunnel.
Oh, I wonder what Mr. Edgeworth is saying. Haven't you noticed? There's a high voltage current running through the fence.
Yeah, obviously she couldn't have passed through it like that. The current of the fence could be switched off at the breaker room. And you were the only one who had the key, Warden Roland.
Most amusing. However, the breaker room is located on the prison side of the courtyard. How would the warden have accessed it from the detention center? Oh, quite right. Got you there, Mr. Edgeworth.
That's...
If there is no record of her passing through the prison entrance, it would not have been possible for her to turn off the fence's breaker.
But Warden Roland was the only one who had access. Don't let this faze you, Miles. But if I don't have a solution for this, she'll get away. No, Uncle Ray never said, don't think, you know. It's just not good to be so stubborn about it, that's all. But no matter how you think about it, Warden Roland couldn't have done this alone. Huh?
Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you have failed to... I am not amused, interrupting my judgment only to be silent.
Without thinking, I just blurted out, objection. I have to answer. I won't let this end here. My reasoning is not over yet.
So, how did she use the breaker without leaving the detention center?
It's perfectly possible with this method. What made it possible to turn off the breaker? She had an accomplice. Or... well, Edgeworth did say she couldn't have done it alone. Huh? As in leading, hey, maybe she had an accomplice. But I actually want to say maybe it was the timing. I think the fence was shut off to get the elephant in. Maybe that was their window, but... no, I want to say she had an accomplice. That's what the game's leaning towards, I think. It was indeed impossible for one person, but what if there were two? Exactly. Just what I expected from you, Miles. Yes, you had an accomplice on the prison side.
Enough. I am disappointed in you, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
What's that, pal? You making fun of Mr. Edgeworth?
The inmates at this prison all wear bracelets. If they try and go where they please, they will set off the alarm. Oh! So you've noticed, this is a prison after all. Not only the prisoners, but the guards too are under constant scrutiny. So why didn't anyone notice Albert? The only ones allowed to move around freely are the animals. And they certainly could not have used the breaker. But it's still possible that a person did it. Excluding the inmates and the guards, just what kind of person would you say it was? We can't exclude the inmates and guards just yet. There was only one person, one whose movement was not restricted. This evidence shows that there was someone in the prison who could move around freely. Frank saw its bracelet. It was broken. That is? It looks like the bracelet worn by the prisoners. This belongs to a certain model inmate, and it's broken. What? Just who on earth does this belong to? Frank saw it, the warden's favorite inmate. Ooh. Is he sweating? Don't you think it's strange? He managed to keep this hidden while he moved around freely in his daily prison life. Golly, when you think about it, it shouldn't be possible. I'd hazard a guess that this was because he was a special case. Just like Sirhan Dogan in the special cell. The prosecutor's statement is mere conjecture. You could find out by simply asking Sawit himself. It is my firm belief that Mr. Sawit and Warden Roland were partners in crime. Due to their collaboration, another route surfaces. The real route by which Knightley's body was moved to the prison. There were two obstacles that needed to be dealt with. The security camera in front of Knightley's cell, and the electric fence in the courtyard. Both these problems could have been solved with a single stroke, by having Sawit switch off the breakers in the breaker room. Mr. Edgeworth, could you wait one moment? Do you still intend to deny it, Warden Roland? I give in. I confess. Warden Roland. No, this cannot be. Yes, it's just as he says. Frank Sawit and I were partners in crime. No way! You did it, Mr. Edgeworth. Roland's gonna take a small hit to get away with a big score. Well done, Miles. At last we have the real culprit cornered. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, Frankie operated the breaker, but we were not responsible for Knightley's murder. What? Warden Roland, whatever do you mean? Judge Courtney, would the Goddess of Law hear my confession? The Goddess of Law is merciful. She will absolve you. I was being threatened. That's why I had no choice but to do as I was told. So, who was threatening you? Sirhan Dogan, that assassin. Dogan? It's been going on since that man came to the prison. I will never forget that day. So dramatic. When we were both alone, he suddenly said to me, I have many dogs outside the prison. Dogs? Loyal dogs who obey my every command. I soon realized that what Dogan referred to were not really dogs, but his human henchmen. And that's not all he said.
You'd better watch how you treat me, if you don't want you and your family to become dog food.
I had no choice. I gave him the special cell. I gave him anything he desired.
Anything he desired? You don't mean the supplier?
That's right. Anything he ordered, I would deliver to him. An underground dealership. I was the one who won over Frankie. It was simple. I just offered him special privileges within the prison. And these underground dealings. Once a week, in the middle of the night, Frankie would shut off 2 of the breakers. So I could move freely from my move from my office to the courtyard without being seen by the security camera. I would go past the fence and drop the goods down the well near the prison. And then I'd sprinkle this perfume over it.
So that's the true identity of the sweet scent.
The scent of perfume was a signal for Dogan's dog. After picking up the scent, it would carry the goods to Dogan. Of course, this had to be done while Elbert was away from his cell.
I'm surprised you never found out about it, pal.
We have a strict timetable here at the prison. Mealtime, exercise time. It's easy to know when he's away from his cell. And since little Rocky is afraid of Dogan's dog, I didn't have to worry about him making noise.
So, having full knowledge of the prison's inner workings, she made the deliveries herself. This would have ensured there were no slip-ups.
Frankie would turn the breakers back on in the early morning, and the delivery was complete. I then modified the timestamp on the security camera. You have told us a great deal. The goddess of law accepts your penitent confession. As the warden of the prison, how could I have done such a foolish thing? The day Knightley was killed was also a delivery day. It seems Frankie was working the breakers as usual. But that day I had nothing to send, so I did not go to the courtyard at all.
The secret of the supply system. So then Warden Roland was...
The police have been searching for Dogan's henchmen for ages. I've also been helping them, but... I've been interrogating him personally in my office. But no matter how much evidence we have on him, we can't get a single word out of him.
So the reason you kept on interrogating him...
Yes, it was to find his henchmen. I borrowed all the evidence from the police and carried out the interrogation myself. I kept an eye on all his actions and examined all of his mail.
Mail? Like his correspondence chest letters.
But I could never uncover the true identity of his henchmen. This fear is something you can never understand.
Oh. My God. What if Roland uncovered the chess correspondence and thought that Knightley was one of Dogan's henchmen? And so Roland killed Knightley in fear, in self-perceived self-defense, preventative. Oh my God! What if the murder just happened because it was a huge misunderstanding? Oh my God!
Prosecutor Edgeworth, you were listening, right? I'd say this confession clears the warden of all suspicion. Is it really necessary to press her further than this? Is it necessary to press her further? Oh, hell yeah. Judge Courtney, my questioning isn't over yet. I'm sure the goddess of law isn't satisfied yet either. You mean to badger this woman further? Even if she was threatened by Dogen, this does not prove she was not the culprit in this case. She was able to use the supply route to transport Knightley's body. Do you have any evidence to support this? The body gave off a sweet scent, the scent of perfume that was used to signify a delivery. Can you explain this fact? Oh, of course. Since I have made so many deliveries, the scent would have lingered around the well. When the body was moved through the well, the scent would have transferred to it. Mr. Elbert also testified to this fact. That's it. For some reason, that well gave off a nice scent. A nice scent? I don't know what it was, but it smells sweet, like candy. The lingering scent in the well would, of course, be picked up by anything passing through. Eric. The defense rests, I see. In that case, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything we can do? What should I do? Is this as far as I can go? Is it over already? Yes, Sebastian, it is. And now, court is officially adjourned. Oh? Who is that? It's not nice of you to adjourn things just like that, Courtney Pye. Mr. Shields. Are you objecting to the court adjourning? Of course not. I ain't got no objection or anything like that. Go ahead and adjourn court. Do whatever you like. Hey, what are you doing, Mr. Shields? Whoa there, calm down, Kay. Who wants some chocolate? Is this a joke? You'll have to excuse me. I just have one tiny request to make. As Simon Keyes' attorney. That's right, you're the defense attorney in charge of this case, aren't you? Exactly. Did you all forget? That's so mean. But you just left everything to Mr. Edgeworth and didn't do anything at all. Yeah, that's right. That's why. Thought I'd do my job a bit. Do your job? That hardly sounds like you at all. It's to prepare for the trial. I'd like to ask the warden a few questions. Surely you jest. What more would you expect to hear from her? Well, Miss Warden, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the culprit. My thoughts? Uncle Ray believes that Simon is not the culprit. It seems that Miss Warden also suspects someone other than Simon. I'd like to hear you out. Mr. Edgeworth, what's Mr. Shields up to? He's trying to lure Warden Roland into testifying. Why was the supply route used to transport the body? I'd say it was to pin the crime on Dogen. Oh, I see. If he committed a murder here, he would be transferred to another prison, one with tighter security. And that would get rid of the troublemaker. Exactly. She wouldn't pass up a chance like that. Hey, hold on a sec. A culprit? Besides Simon? What do you mean? Simon was the one I was supposed to prosecute. Exactly. So wouldn't it be better if DeBest also listened to what she has to say? Amazing, Mr. Shields. You managed to drag Mr. DeBest into this too. Warden Roland, is this acceptable? Oh, you. It's fine. It's fine. She's panicking. You understand a woman's heart.
Thank you, mademoiselle.
Actually, I've thought this over. I'd like to tell you my thoughts. You'll let me speak, won't you, Justine, darling? Of course. You may speak. Mr. Shields, awesome!
Phew, that was a close shave.
Thank you, Mr. Shields.
No, I'm still leaving the rest to you. Remember what I said? A defense attorney never gives up. The fate of our client rests on our shoulders, after all. It'd be uncool if Uncle Ray didn't put that into practice. Now then, Miles, it's your turn to show you'll never give up.
Right. Well then, will you listen to my story?
Here we go. This might be the end. Yeah, I'm getting signals that this is the final cross-examination. Oh, I'm here for it. Let's go.
I believe that the culprit in this case could only have been Dogen. I have no idea what transpired between Dogen and the victim. It simply could have been that Dogen was displeased with him.
Didn't you just say that you read all of Dogen's letters?
In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death. He probably had a dog dispose of the body. This is the truth of the case.
Mm-hmm.
The victim, Mr. Knightley, was it? I think it is a truly terrible thing.
Taking a man's life, you mean?
That's how you go about saying it, isn't it? If only I'd been more vigilant, his death would not have happened. That's why I want to clear up his regrets. Warden Roland, how considerate. I'm sure Mr. Knightley in heaven is overflowing with gratitude.
Is gratitude really what Knightley feels?
I believe that the culprit in this case could only have been Dogen.
You seem very confident of that. How can you be so sure?
The children of this home are all good little boys and girls. Believe in yourself, believe in your friends, and believe in me and the guards. There is no way any of these hard-working children could have committed a murder.
Quite an emotional reason. Makes sense coming from someone like her.
Only Dogen could be capable of something like that. I have no idea what transpired between Dogen and the victim.
Knightley was being held in the detention center, and Dogen was in the prison. They couldn't make any contact. Don't you think that would have prevented trouble?
The prison is quite confined, right? There were many ways for them to meet.
Knightley was murdered days before he would have been sentenced to prison. Surely there weren't many ways a meeting would have occurred.
Even without a direct meeting, Dogen can still cause trouble, mark my words. It simply could have been that Dogen was displeased with him.
What could Knightley have done in the detention center to displease him?
That was just an example. You don't have to take it so seriously. Didn't I already say that I have no idea what transpired between them? Nevertheless, you certainly are a serious one, Edgeworth, dear.
What's this? That piercing gaze.
Always standing straight and stiff. Very nice. Looking very clever, my dear. I think I'm about to become your biggest fan.
I can think of another old lady who has that title.
Mr. Edgeworth, stay focused. It's just a flesh wound.
Right. Is this some form of psychological warfare?
In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death. I'd like to hear your thoughts about the circumstances surrounding the murder. Well, I suppose it was a simple job. During his booking, I learned that the victim had some kind of injury to his neck. He couldn't turn his neck to the right. I remember him saying something like that. Booking. That's the process one undergoes before being locked up in the detention center. It sounds like you don't really know a lot about Knightley. I only know a little. In any case, he would have been an easy target for Dogen. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. The victim wouldn't even have had a chance to scream. I see. Your opinion will be a very valuable reference. Could you add those last statements to your testimony? Oh! Oh, snap. Ah, you're making me blush. You're so C-U-T-E. I'm just kidding. I'll continue. Wow. But here I was, all set to use. I have no idea what transpired between Dogen and the victim. Here I was set to use the anonymous letter, or just the letter, the chess correspondence. But if something got added, this has to be it then. That's the law of the franchise, really. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. The chessboard. The thing that the victim brought with him. It seemed like he really enjoyed playing chess. How could I have guessed that chisel would be hidden inside it? The chisel in the chessboard. That fact is only known by a select few people. This was the answer we arrived at from our reasoning, after all. So then, why does she know about this? In Dogen's hand, even a chisel enough to be used as a lethal weapon. How do you know? Warden Roland, you certainly are sharp-witted. Hey, enough with the titles. Call me Patty, P-A-T-T-Y. However, there's something you were a little too knowledgeable about. Oh, embarrassed? You're such an inexperienced child, Edgeworth, dear. Fight on, Mr. Edgeworth. You said you didn't really know much about Knightley. If that's the case, how did you know about the chisel inside the chessboard? Oh, of course, the entrance check. Enough with the poor excuses. The entrance check. The chessboard wasn't something Knightley brought with him. It was brought to him later by Mr. Keyes. He didn't even have it when he arrived here. That's my mistake. I meant the parcel check. Even if we assume that, there are still many suspicious points. Why wasn't such a chisel immediately confiscated? Ah! Wow, her whole coat bristled. Judge Courtney, did you tell anyone about the trick to this chessboard? I did not. If no information about our investigation was leaked, then how did you find out? You could not have examined this during the entrance check or parcel check. Certainly, someone in the warden's position would never have let a chisel slip by. Exactly. So answer this, Warden Roland. When and how did you learn about the chessboard's secret? In that case, I shall answer for you. It is because... I give up, Edgeworth dear. It is as you say. Huh? I interrogated Knightley. That's how I learned about the chessboard. But please believe me, I didn't kill anyone. Enough. It would appear that we have uncovered some vital information. I'll ask you to testify once more, if that's all right with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
No objections here.
Thank you, Edgeworth dear. I'll do my best. Well then, Warden Roland, I trust there will be no lies from here on out.
Her pool of lies is slowly running dry. Soon I will bring out her true nature. My story part 2.
I wouldn't go so far as to call it an interrogation. I always make sure to talk to all the new arrivals. Mr. Knightley, yes, we had a little chat. After our talk, he went right back to his cell, I assure you.
She's piling lies on top of lies, not realizing that it only tightens the noose around her neck.
You speak with the new prisoners, you say? That's right. I'm glad you understand.
Your testimony is not solid evidence. It requires more than just understanding.
Well then, Prosecutor Edgeworth, you may begin your cross-examination. I wouldn't go so far as to call it an interrogation.
You're certain you interrogated him the day before the show?
Yes, around 3 a.m. on the 27th.
That's a very odd time. 3 at night. That matches the time of death on Knightley's autopsy report. You summoned him that late at night and he wasn't asleep.
Well, the guard was attacked in Knightley's cell, remember? After that incident, we checked his cell and inquired about the circumstances. I'm sure all that excitement made it hard to sleep. Knightley was wide awake, you know.
So, even though it was highly irregular, you still carried out this late-night interrogation.
Edgeworth, dear, you're so mean.
Ugh.
It may have been irregular, but the truth is I had him moved. You can call it what you like, it still doesn't change the facts.
Please excuse him. I'll give my incompetent apprentice a good scolding later. But for now, mademoiselle, what did you mean when you said you had him moved?
I thought it was obvious, monsieur. I spoke to him in my office.
Her office? The route she used to move Knightley's body. Please add that statement to your testimony.
Of course. Around 3 a.m. the day before the show, the victim was brought into my office.
And where is your office located exactly?
You know that sign in the detention center hallway? You mean the one that says no entry? Yeah, it's just a short walk up that aisle, about 5 minutes from the cell block.
5? That's a long-ass walk. I thought they were literally next door, but okay. I've heard that room exits into the courtyard.
Of course, that side of the courtyard is my private garden. Oh, I get it. You're going to say I used that route to move the body.
Indeed, you must have been able to use it, if you used that route.
For now, that is merely a possibility. There's no decisive evidence to support it.
But there is no other way the body could have been moved.
Surely you haven't forgotten my theory that Simon Keyes dropped the body in the well?
That's right, what she said. Pursuing this point further would be hazardous.
I always make sure to talk to all the new arrivals.
Wait, hold on. 3 a.m. the day before the show. What time does the clock say in the footage? I feel like I'm missing something. Oh. The autopsy report. Yeah, we haven't actually used this yet, so this is probably it. Around 3 a.m. at the time of death. What? Really? That's not it? What? I'm actually really surprised about that. I thought I had it. What do you think? It's utterly ridiculous, I wholeheartedly agree. Seems I was mistaken. The game's not even gonna give me any hints, huh? 3 a.m. the day before the show. Oh, the day before! Son of a... God, okay. Oh! Wait, no. That's wrong day. Oh god, I'm stuck. Okay, usually I might be more willing to think this out a bit harder, but this video's running kind of long, so I just want to hurry things up. Well, I'll do a guide check. My god, this was a red herring? Apparently this expanded testimony isn't relevant. Wow. Okay. It was... Yes, we had a little chat. After our talk, he went right back to his cell, I assure you. Yeah, this is the one I press. I press this. Wow. That's rude, game. What the hell? You broke a series tradition. If he really returned to his cell, there is no way he would be a corpse now. I know you're suggesting that I killed him during the interrogation, but I couldn't possibly have had a motive to kill Knightley, could I? Dogen was the only one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim. She only hated Dogen. Please add that statement to your testimony. Dogen was the one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim. Okay, I know what to do here then. Finally, we get to bring this up. Objection! Yeah! Judge Courtney, I'd like you to have a look at this. It looks like a record of a chess game. Is there something wrong with it? This was discovered in the victim's cell. It was Knightley's memo. Warden Roland, you also discovered this note in the very same place. And not just in Knightley's cell, but in Dogen's too, correct? What are you? Don't say that you don't know about the chessboard in the special cell. After all, you would have kept an eye on Dogen's actions, down to the smallest details. No, to be more precise, it wasn't Dogen that you needed to keep an eye on.
The warden was searching for Mr. Dogan's henchman. From the start, I found it strange that the warden interrogated the prisoners personally, since he used his henchmen to threaten harm to our family. Warden Roland interrogated Dogan to expose them. So, what are you saying? As you inspected Dogan's mail, you must have known that he played correspondence chess. Herc! And then Knightley appeared, with a chess memo in hand. We deduced that he and Dogan were connected. You must have arrived at the same conclusion as well. However, you went one step too far in your reasoning. You thought Knightley was one of Dogan's henchmen who had come to kill you. So that's why you interrogated Knightley, boy. If the boss won't crack, go after his henchmen. In addition, you discovered something when you were interrogating him. Inside his chessboard, you found a portable chisel. The murder weapon. To Warden Roland, the chisel was a symbol of Dogan, and that was the final straw. You believed Knightley was one of Dogan's henchmen, and you killed him. It seems there will be no rebuttal. Judge Courtney, your verdict? Though it is incredibly unfortunate, there seems to be no room for doubt. I shall announce my verdict for the murder of Horace Knightley. Twice my sacred verdict has been interrupted. Who was that? Warden Roland? Oh, how strange. You guys really don't understand anything. It would seem the one who doesn't understand is you. Me? Oh, I understand one thing very well. There is a huge contradiction in your logic, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, that's new. Once she's cornered, she starts spouting nonsense. Pay it no heed. Judge Courtney, your verdict. I am interested in hearing what the warden has to say. What? I thought so. I just have one thing I want to say. One? Please take a good look at the autopsy report. The autopsy report? The one I brought with me. I heard exactly what you said earlier, Justine, darling. You said the wound was 4 inches deep. Oh, I thought she was about to bring up the time. 4 inches? No way. Could that tiny chisel really have made a wound 4 inches deep? Impossible! How could I have made such an error? Oh, forgive me, goddess of law. Well, I believe that overturns your hypothesis. What will you do now, Mr. Edgeworth? What'll we do?
It'll be all right, pal. Mr. Edgeworth always. Whoa, hey now. He's gone all right. All white. Hey, you're a defense attorney, aren't you? Isn't there something you can do, pal? Do that turnabout thing. Make some earth-shattering objection. Uncle Ray's a hard worker, but without decisive evidence, we're just whipping a dead horse here.
Does that mean it's hopeless? The true killer is Warden Roland. If it's not her, then nothing that's happened fits. But the chisel isn't the murder weapon. Are there any other sharp objects here? There are still many mysteries remaining in this case. However, we do not have the evidence to solve them at this present time. We have no choice but to continue this battle in the courtroom.
Objection.
That would just give the killer a chance to destroy evidence.
Are you mocking the court?
No, I didn't mean anything like that. You look perplexed, Miles. Thought of anything yet?
The chisel is not the murder weapon. In that case, what is?
It's no use. We're back where we started.
No objections, Prosecutor Edgeworth. By the way, any baseless statements will be punished accordingly.
It's no good. I can't think of anything. I need more time. I regret to say I have no...
No, Mr. Edgeworth, remember what Mr. Shields said. If we give up, Simon will... Have you forgotten that sad look on his face? He was the one who suffered most from Knightley's death. If we can't save him, who will? Besides, Simon believes in us, so we can't give up.
Okay. Miles, looks like you found a good partner. It's like little Kay says. Whenever you're backed into a corner, think of your client. Keep fighting until the very end. Isn't that the feeling you're getting? Gregory, your old man. No matter what trouble he faced, he would always turn things around and save his client. You've got his blood in you, right? In that case, you're the only one who can turn this around. Judge Courtney,
the look in your eyes has suddenly changed. If you do intend to speak, you'd better be prepared to face the consequences. Your logic thus far has been misplaced numerous times. If this were to happen again, I will consider you unfit to call yourself a prosecutor, and you will hand over your badge.
That's right. My reasoning about this case has indeed been misplaced numerous times. Have I made a grave miscalculation? Wait. My logic is... misplaced.
Still silent? I cannot condone this waste of time. Well then...
Mr. Edgeworth!
Mr. Edgeworth? I will announce my verdict.
That's it. I have to turn my logic around. My logic isn't misplaced. It's been misled.
This court finds the defendant Simon Keyes.
Third time's the charm. Isn't it a little early to hand down a verdict?
I actually think it's rather late. Don't you agree, Justine, darling? Enlighten us. What?
Try to remember the eyewitness account about his dog and his absence from the animal show. When I first heard that information, my suspicion immediately fell on Dogan.
I'm amazed you take such pride in retelling your previous failings.
But was that not the killer's aim? What if we assume that was their intention from the start? Of course, the chisel served the same purpose. Knightley's body was stabbed in the same spot with multiple sharp objects. This shows that he was stabbed with a chisel after the real murder weapon was removed. By soaking the chisel in Knightley's blood, the killer wanted to mislead us into thinking the chisel was the murder weapon. Why? That's because... Why did the killer want us to think the chisel was the murder weapon? To get Dogan expelled.
Warden Roland, you made use of this chisel's image.
Chisel's image? What are you trying to say?
Mr. DeBest, when you see this chisel, what does it suggest to you?
Something like Dogen is the killer, right?
Now do you understand? That was the Warden's aim.
Oh, she wanted us to suspect the person with the chisels.
Indeed, that was her plan from the very beginning. To make Sirhan Dogen out to be the killer.
I understand your logic. It is true the Warden did not think kindly of Dogen. But you understand, don't you? This alone does not prove she is the killer.
As I thought, it's not enough. The remaining chance is for me to find the real murder weapon.
If you have no more evidence, I believe this conversation is over.
Son of a bitch. Oh my god, I know where it is.
I could prove it if I found the real murder weapon. It doesn't matter what you say. We did a clean sweep of this place. It is as Sebastian says. In the end, we could not find any weapons. In other words, such proof is impossible.
No, the murder weapon must still be somewhere in the prison. As long as this exists.
The security gate. You remember its name after all. Are you mocking me? It's because of those things that you can't take metal objects in or out of this place. Oh!
Right. As long as those security gates exist, the murder weapon should still be here.
That also means no weapon could have been brought into the prison. In the end, we're back to the same mystery after all.
Judge Courtney?
Prosecutor Edgeworth, surely you've realized. If the real murder weapon is still in the prison, one must also consider how it got there in the first place.
The chisel was concealed within the chessboard. But the chisel is not the real murder weapon. Which means the real murder weapon must have been smuggled in somehow.
The way it was smuggled in. Can you prove that?
How Warden Roland brought the weapon into the prison? You had evidence transferred from the precinct.
Yes, we borrowed all the evidence concerning Dogen. I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but...
That's it. She could have used that. This shows another way a weapon could be brought into the prison. Eh? Wait, what? Oh, right, Dogen's bells. The knife has been confiscated.
Take that!
Yesterday, Dogen said this. Yes, my bells. There are only 2 in the world. Only 2. They're custom-made, attached to my knife and Anubis's collar. Even though I can only rely on my ears, I can easily identify them. Alas, one has been confiscated and is not in my possession. It's possible the murder weapon was brought in as confiscated evidence.
What?
Dogen's knife was confiscated and stored on the premises. Furthermore, a bell was attached to the knife. can't be. The bell on that chisel.
Exactly. The killer took it from the knife and reattached it to the chisel.
But the only fingerprints on this chisel are Knightley's.
The killer probably wore gloves when they made the switch. She made the chisel out to be the murder weapon by attaching Dogen's bell. And in doing so, made Dogen appear to be the culprit. Furthermore, the handling of the set of evidence that this bell originally belonged to was only possible for someone with the proper authority.
Who, sir? Who had that authority?
Why don't we ask the warden what she thinks? You can find bells anywhere. Anyone could have attached it, right?
I see, so you don't know. These bells are Dogen's trademark. There are only 2 in the world.
What? What?
And so, attaching the bell would naturally make you the killer.
Do you have evidence that I have the knife? You don't, do you?
Of course, I understand. In that case, Mr. DeBest, I'd like to request an investigation immediately.
But if you find it, it'll be problematic for me.
That doesn't matter now. It is necessary that we reveal the truth. You are a prosecutor, are you not?
Well, even if you say that.
Curse this useless prosecutor. If only I still had investigative rights.
Besides, we can't investigate without the warden's permission, right?
There's no way she would approve. We have no choice but to investigate ourselves.
If you don't have evidence, there's no use in continuing this conversation. The goddess of law does not smile upon those with no evidence. This will have to be continued in the courtroom.
Not good. If we give the warden more time here, she'll definitely destroy the evidence. It seems like I have no choice but to raise an objection and stall for time. But I don't have anything definite. Is that really acceptable? Is it really like me to do something this reckless? No, not good. Now is not the time for hesitation. Right now, I'm not a prosecutor, but an attorney's assistant. I need to protect my client. I'm the only one who can save him now. In that case, even if it's a 1 in a million chance, I have to take it. It's sink or swim. Should I raise an objection? Hell yeah. It almost feels like I've turned into a certain bluffing defense attorney. Yeah, there's a lot of Phoenix in him right now. But right now, I can't come to a standstill here.
Objection!
Hold it.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, what now?
I just realized something.
What would that be, pray tell?
Naturally, the whereabouts of the real murder weapon. Dogen's knife.
Mr. Edgeworth? Is that really true?
Yes. Though it is a lie.
I find that hard to believe. This isn't a bluff, is it?
You underestimate me. The word bluff does not exist in my dictionary. Didn't he just call himself a bluffing defense attorney? Ugh, this is bad for my heart.
There's no way you could know, because such a thing doesn't even exist. Well then, could you enlighten us? Where is the real murder weapon?
Think. Somewhere the police didn't look. A blind spot in this animal-filled prison. A hiding place the warden would have complete confidence in. Huh? A hiding place? Come to think of it. It was inevitable. Anubis, show them your mouth. The same method? No, it couldn't be, could it? It is. That's my thought. That was my thought from earlier. I figured it out. But there aren't that many ways to hide things from an investigator's eyes. Gator. Prosecutor Edgeworth, how long do you intend to keep us waiting? It's possible, but I'm taking a big gamble here. The place where the real murder weapon is hidden is here.
Take that!
Here, in the courtyard. Indeed. That's not enough information. Please show us in more detail. Where is the real murder weapon hidden? Right there.
Take that!
That's it. Back then.
Well,
What's the matter, Detective?
it looks like the metal detector is reaching to this alligator.
Really? Why? Of course. That's why the metal detector reacted. Judge Courtney, I'd like you to take a look at this. The chisel? Wasn't that just the fake murder weapon? Dogan hid this chisel inside his dog's mouth, and the real murder weapon was hidden in very much the same way. The real murder weapon is in the pond inside the alligator. This is peak Ace Attorney. Kino. Chef's kiss. Mwah. What? What? We can confirm that the metal detector reacted to the alligator. Judge Courtney, please have the insides of the alligator examined. I give my consent. We'll have to call a veterinarian. I can make that little girl open her mouth. Can I help? Yes, go ahead. Warden Roland, discovering the real murder weapons will settle this matter once and for all. Why don't you do the honorable thing and confess now? What would I have to confess? In that case, you can just wait for your fate to be sealed. Yerg.
Oh, we found it, sir.
Just where you said it would be. It's over. Patricia Rowland, the real murder weapon is none other than Dogan's knife. And the one who murdered Horace Knightley can only be you. Dogan was the evil one. I didn't do anything wrong. It was completely reasonable. That guy was one of Dogan's henchmen. Him. If only he had never come to my home. I could at least still be happy. My special paradise. He ruined it, all of it. Him, that no-good assassin. Him. Huh?
Oh, good God. The entire time. The entire coat was animal. Oh. Mr. De Best of the Best, we have the results. The best of the best? Looks like even the forensics officers have it tough. We found traces of Knightley's blood on Dogen's knife. It was just like you said. You're the best, Mr. De Best. All right, good job. But don't stop there. Keep the praise coming. Yes, sir. You're so incredible, it brings tears to my eyes. From sorrow? Well done, Sebastian. Next comes the follow-up investigation. Uh-huh. What are you talking about, Justine? Hasn't the case been solved already? We have not yet confirmed if Knightley truly was one of Dogen's henchmen. There is also a chance that Warden Roland jumped to conclusions. Oh. That is the remaining uncertainty in this case. Anyways, let's keep investigating. Hey, you there, come with me. Since I'm the best, the truth will appear before me first. When that moment arrives, make sure you don't miss it. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to witnessing your first-rate ability. Let's go. We live in troubling times, wouldn't you agree? The would-be assassin of the president was found murdered in the prison. Knightley had not planned to assassinate the president. The truth is not as vital as you seem to believe it to be. Not to the world, and not to the law. That can't be right. Believe what you will. However, as long as Prosecutor Edgeworth remains a prosecutor, it is an inescapable reality. A prosecutor is not someone who demands a guilty verdict. That is what I believe. Those are merely your values. The law is not the plaything of any one person. If you will not submit to that, you will do well to prepare for the consequences. What's that supposed to mean, pal? Don't tell me you're gonna... Now then, this is where I must take my leave, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Man, she's not even gonna apologize for doubting Edgeworth every step of the way. God, what a detestable character. I do not like her. Man... Judge Courtney is right. The law should not serve any one person's desires. However, if the truth is bent as a result of that, can that really be called justice? Oh, Simon! Boss! What happened? They said you could come out already. Well, honestly, I don't know for sure. All of a sudden, they were like, "You're free to go, and you should thank Mr. Edgeworth." Well, that's because he found out who the real murderer was. Really? He did? Mr. Edgeworth. Oh! No way! Even if you glare at me like that, it's useless. I'm innocent after all. You can't make me guilty. Simon, you should thank him, you know. You're right. Thank you very much. I want to thank you too. Good grief. Mr. Defense Attorney, can I ask you just one more question? Yes, you may. But I'm not a defense attorney. I thought that Knightley and I were friends. No, I mean best friends. I always thought we were.
You don't think so anymore? Well, I'm just wondering. There are some things I had no idea about. Like how he could hate someone enough to kill them. That's why maybe he never trusted me either. Simon, that's not true. You're lying, because if I had known, I could have stopped him. I would have told him he had no need to be angry with anyone. Mr. Keyes, I don't think he disliked you either. Let's show him proof that Knightley trusted him. The chessboard?
Take that!
That's what I gave to. Knightley hid a chisel inside it, most likely to aid in his escape. Escape? He used me? He trusted in you. He knew you'd bring it to him without looking into it and without question. And in doing just that, you were caught up in everything. Sniff? Sniff? Wah! Knightley, you idiot! Looks like he gets it. Simon is not as dumb as he looks after all. I'm sure he'll be back to normal by tomorrow. Was that supposed to be a compliment? Oh, I'll be strong. I'll become a splendid wild animal tamer for Knightley's sake. Excellent, that's the spirit. Oh, I almost forgot. If you'd like, please come to our next show. Oh. What's his name? Max Galactica? Something like that. I'll also be performing in it. The Berry Big Circus is always fabulous and fun for all ages. Wow, that sounds like fun. Let's go, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I'll think about it. Well, we need to get back to practicing right away. You'll be with Regent today. What? The tiger? No way, no way, no way. It'll be fine. He's a good boy. No way. There's no way it'll be fine. Please cut me a break, boss. And there they go. But, man, bravo, bravo. You really put on a good show today, Miles. It's all thanks to you, Mr. Shields. Without your help, she might have gotten away. Not to mention allowing us to continue the investigation. Oh man, cut it out already. You're gonna make me blush. I never know when you are being serious. Uncle Ray is always serious. So how was it, Miles? How did it feel to be a defense attorney, to save people? A defense attorney? But that really took me back. It was just like being next to your old man again. It's been a while since I felt this good. It was. Well, it's somewhat difficult to say it was a good thing. Come on, Miles, are you sure you don't want to be a defense attorney? What? You know, pick up where your father left off. Don't you want to save people like he did? What are you talking about, pal? Mr. Edgeworth is a prosecutor. But is it really that unusual for a prosecutor to become a defense attorney these days? Unusual isn't the problem here. Hey, don't be so upset. It's normal, you know? Normal. It's not. Normal, pal. You'd all make for a powerful defense team. Mr. Shields, I am a prosecutor. And Uncle Ray is a defense attorney, that's why.
I'm being serious about this. Well, that's just my opinion. Feel free to drop by anytime if you have a change of heart. I'll be waiting for you. Follow in my father's footsteps. Dude. Me. Become a defense attorney. I'm going to become a defense attorney just like my dad. Okay, if Gregory has... Okay. I think that settles it. If the game has a full-fledged sprite for Gregory like that, oh yeah, flashback case. The inherited turnabout. Oh, fascinating. Well, I think that'll do it. So, I think that really does settle it. I think we're in for a flashback case. If not in the next one, in the inherited turnabout, then in the one after that, for sure. Gregory, Ray, and Manfred. That is the trifecta we're going back to, I think. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh man. Oh my god, I'm hyped. And you know what else was hype? This case. Man, it went on for a long time. It dragged a little. But the finale was so satisfying. Ah, the way it all clicked together. You know, except, did it all click together? We determined that Patricia Rowland did stab Knightley in the neck. But what about hanging it? The specific materials she used to hang the body into the well were only there because of the Berry Big Circus. Was it... Did she really just think that fast on the fly? Yeah, whatever. Case is over with. The perp got sent to prison. We're good. So, next time is going to come in a few days, actually. I'm actually been planning this. Once this case here was finished, I was planning on taking a little break from recording. I've been recording every day. I just need a teensy-weensy break, so give it a few days, guys. Let this extra long video, nearly double length, carry you over. In the meantime, I'm just going to kick my feet up, take a little teensy break from recording. And then, before you know it, we'll be back with the next case. So I'm looking forward to that. Hope you are too. It should be like maybe 4, 5, 6 days, somewhere around there. Less than a week. Anyway, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Ace Attorney Investigations. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.